7 times. You should be silent and let karma handle it. Have you ever noticed that the harder you try to prove your innocence, the guiltier people believe you are? How standing up for yourself only makes you appear weak or defensive, while those who cause harm get away with it. But here's a secret that most people never realize. When you stop reacting, justifying, and attempting to control how others perceive you, karma quietly steps in to set things right. It's like quicksand. The more you resist lies and manipulation, the deeper you sink. But once you've stopped moving, you can easily get back up. Imagine dropping a stone into calm water. Every action causes ripples that eventually lead back to the source. That is exactly how karma operates. The negativity that people spread, the pain they cause others, all finds its way back home. So, while others are busy scheming, hurting, and provoking, you have made a decisive decision. Get caught up in their drama, or take a step back and watch karma finish the story. Because the moment you choose silence, their actions resume, and their negativity consumes them. And today, I'll show you exactly when to be silent and let karma handle what your words couldn't. Don't skip any of this video. By the end, you'll see silence and Stoic wisdom in a completely new light. And hey, if you like what we're doing here, I'll just ask for one simple free favor. Hit the subscribe button. It means everything to me. Okay, let's get into it. The rumor mill. Dealing with people who distort reality in order to tarnish your reputation can be extremely draining, right? It's one of those things that feels deeply unfair, because you're out here doing your own thing, living your truth, and then, bam, someone is spreading a completely false story. Your gut instinct is probably telling you to jump in, correct every detail, and passionately defend yourself. And honestly, I understand. I have been there too. And it's difficult to just sit back and watch people distort the facts without intervening. But here's a powerful truth supported by some serious Stoic wisdom. Sometimes the best defense isn't speaking louder. It is opting for silence. Think about it. The more effort you put into fighting a lie, the stronger it appears to become. It's like trying to extinguish a wildfire. It only fanned the flames. Marcus Aurelius once stated, "If it is not right, don't do it. If it is not true, do not say it." In other words, keep your actions consistent with integrity and believe that time will clear your name. People who tell lies want you to become defensive. They benefit from your reactions because it adds drama and credibility to their false stories. Every response you give can easily be twisted into additional ammunition against you. So, don't give it to them. Take a step back, breathe, and allow your life to speak for itself. Here's something interesting I learned through personal experience. Lies never last forever. Truth, on the other hand, remains timeless. Liars' inconsistency eventually becomes apparent. Stoicism reminds us that our greatest strength lies in our ability to control our emotions. Refusing to engage demonstrates strength, not weakness. Your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting their negativity back to them. Let me tell you a quick story about my friend Mark. Mark had a coworker who spread nasty rumors behind his back, accusing him of manipulating work results to advance. The gossip was damaging. His coworkers began to doubt him, and the situation became very tense. Mark's initial reaction was to go from desk to desk, explaining himself and proving his innocence. But instead, he did something much more difficult, but infinitely wiser. He said nothing. He kept his head down, remained focused, and continued to perform at his best. Several weeks later, people began to notice something odd. The coworker who started the rumor had a history of such stunts. Her stories never quite matched up. And with that, the lie crumbled under the weight of its own dishonesty. So, the next time someone tries to sabotage your reputation with lies, remember Mark's approach and this important Stoic principle. Your character is defined by your actions, not by the opinions of others. Trust that the truth will eventually emerge, no matter how dark or confusing the situation appears right now. Practice patience, control your emotions, and give karma the space it requires to do its work. Because, at the end of the day, silence and integrity speak louder and clearer than any explanation. Betrayal. Backfire is one of those experiences that hits you like a punch to the gut. Someone close to you, someone you trust deeply, does something unexpected. Suddenly, everything you thought you knew about them seems shaky. Your mind raced, your heart sank, and you wondered how you had missed the warning signs. Most of us have a natural instinct for confrontation in those situations. You want an explanation, an apology, or at least the satisfaction of seeing regret in their eyes. But let us take a moment to reflect on a powerful Stoic idea. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." It's natural to want to respond, explain your pain, and make them realize how deeply they've hurt you. However, the painful truth is that betrayal frequently reveals more about their character than it ever could about your own. No explanation or apology from them will change the fact that they have already justified their actions in their own minds. Arguing will not suddenly make them understand. They've probably convinced themselves they didn't do anything wrong. Choosing silence and distance is one of the most effective responses in these situations. Why? Because your silence clearly communicates that I understand what happened, that I see your actions clearly, and that I am strong enough to walk away without incident. Stoicism reminds us that we can only control our own reactions, not other people's choices. By responding calmly or not at all, you regain emotional control. Here's something to remember. Your peace and dignity are far more important than convincing someone else to admit they betrayed you. Their betrayal is their burden to bear, not yours. Epictetus reminds us that what happens to us is less important than how we respond to it. Your strength lies in taking a calm step back and letting their actions speak for themselves. Imagine quietly exiting a toxic cycle rather than arguing. Consider how powerful and self-respecting it is to walk away without seeking validation or closure from someone who has intentionally hurt you. When you do this, you are practicing true Stoic resilience by prioritizing your inner peace over external validation. And believe me, karma notices. Their betrayal eventually comes back to haunt them. Your silence ensures that their actions are heard louder and clearer than any explanation you can provide. By stepping away quietly, you are not only protecting your peace, but also allowing life to teach them the lessons they refuse to learn from you. Dodging verbal bullets. We've all experienced those moments, right? Someone makes a snide remark, a jab disguised as a joke, or simply says something hurtful directly to your face. In that split second, your heart rate rises, your chest tightens, and your instinct tells you to fire back, defend yourself, or deliver an even sharper comeback. However, you may be surprised to learn the following. When you respond with anger or defensiveness, you hand over your power to them. You're basically saying, "Here, you control my emotions." This realization struck me hard when I first began researching Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and emperor, once said that the best revenge is not to become like your adversary. It's a simple sentence, but it's profound when you think about it. When someone insults you, their goal isn't to provide accurate or genuine feedback. It is about eliciting your emotions. They want to upset you, get under your skin, and make you squirm. However, choosing silence or responding with calm indifference completely changes the script. Suddenly, they've failed. You haven't given them the reaction they wanted. I remember a friend named Sam who worked in a highly competitive office environment. He had a coworker who seemed to enjoy making passive-aggressive comments during team meetings, always attempting to undermine Sam's contributions. Comments like, "Wow, that was a good idea coming from you," or "I didn't think you'd pull it off." Sam would initially respond defensively, attempting to explain or prove himself each time, and he would eventually leave those interactions feeling frustrated and defeated. He knew something needed to change. So one day, inspired by Stoic wisdom, Sam decided to simply stop reacting. The next meeting arrived, and, as expected, the same coworker made another sarcastic remark about Sam's work. But this time, Sam simply smiled calmly, nodded slightly, and continued speaking confidently, as if the insult had never occurred. Do you know what happened next? The entire room felt the awkwardness, not from Sam, but from a coworker. Without Sam's reaction to fuel the insult, the remark hung awkwardly in the air, losing all impact. The insult eventually stopped completely. Not because the coworker suddenly changed his ways, but because he realized he could no longer control Sam's emotions. This is precisely the power Stoicism teaches us. It's about reclaiming emotional control and not letting others dictate how you feel. Epictetus, another legendary Stoic, put it beautifully. Any person capable of enraging you becomes your master. Let that sink in. Do you really want someone who uses insults or petty comments to have that much control over your emotions, energy, or day? Of course not. So, the next time you're confronted with an insult, whether direct, subtle, or disguised as humor, take a moment to consider your response. Remind yourself that their comment reveals far more about their own insecurities than it does about you. People who lash out are often dealing with personal frustrations, envy, or feelings of inadequacy. Your calm silence or gentle indifference is actually the most powerful response possible, because it emphasizes their negativity without lowering you to their level. Choosing silence does not make you weak. Quite the opposite. It demonstrates remarkable strength, dignity, and self-control. It demonstrates that you are above petty insults, confident in who you are, and grounded enough to be unaffected by someone else's negativity. And believe me, nothing irritates an insulter more than knowing they have no power over you. Here's a practical tip you can use right away. When someone insults you, pause briefly, smile genuinely, and then do not respond. If you must respond, say something calm and neutral, such as interesting perspective, or, better yet, thanks for sharing. You'll see their confidence crumble as they realize their jab has bounced harmlessly off your emotional armor. The blame game. We've all met that person who can turn any situation around, making themselves appear completely innocent while portraying you as the villain, right? They have an incredible ability to spin narratives, leave out key details, and still elicit sympathy from everyone around them. It's exhausting because your first instinct is to step in and defend yourself, to set the record straight. But here's the catch. When you do that, you're playing right into their hands. Stoicism provides profound wisdom here. Marcus Aurelius said that you have control over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will gain strength. Essentially, you cannot prevent someone from playing the victim, but you can certainly control how you respond. These people thrive on your reactions, and they use your attempts to clarify or correct the story as additional evidence that they are under attack. It may sound crazy, but the more rational or passionate your response, the more they can use it against you. Choosing silence or calm detachment is your most effective move. Why? Because refusing to engage with their victim narrative depletes its fuel. Stoicism teaches us that our peace stems from internal clarity, not external validation. You don't need to prove your innocence if you know the truth. Allowing someone else's drama to pass without emotional engagement is a quiet but powerful form of strength. Here's a simple yet powerful truth. Those who constantly play the victim eventually expose themselves. Patterns emerge, and people begin to notice that trouble always follows them. Epictetus wisely stated that freedom is the only worthwhile goal. It is won by ignoring circumstances beyond your control. You cannot control their manipulations, but you can completely control your participation in their game. Consider it this way. By refusing to respond, you are silently declaring that I am unwilling to be cast in your drama. This type of silence is not passive. It's intentional. It's a strategic step back, allowing them to reveal their true personalities on their own. When you quietly withdraw from their story, your silence speaks louder than any words could. Here's the thing about karma. Eventually, the truth comes out. Without your reactions to keep their story alive, people will soon notice the inconsistencies. Your silence allows reality to reveal itself naturally. You do not need to say anything. Life has a way of revealing authenticity without your involvement. Recognize your value. Isn't it strange to have this feeling? When you put your heart and soul into something, whether it's your relationships, friendships, or career, only to discover that you're being completely overlooked. You're always there, putting your best foot forward, but your contributions seem invisible. The instinctive reaction is often to try harder, speak louder, or demonstrate once and for all how valuable you are. But here's the tricky part. Chasing recognition rarely leads to increased respect. In fact, it can make them take you even more for granted. This is an instance when Stoic wisdom truly shines through. Marcus Aurelius once advised us to look within for our sense of worth, rather than seeking validation from others. He said, "It never ceases to amaze me that we love ourselves more than other people while caring more about their opinions than our own." Think about it for a moment. How often do we let someone else's inability to recognize our worth become our problem? When you rely on others to recognize your worth, you relinquish complete control over your self-esteem. And let's be honest. Why should your value be defined by someone else? Here's a challenging but empowering truth. Begging for recognition or attention lowers your value in the eyes of others. It indicates insecurity rather than strength. Stoicism teaches us that self-respect should always come first. If someone consistently overlooks or undervalues your contributions, the most effective thing you can do is take a step back. Not dramatically, not angrily, but quietly drawing your energy away. Your absence, your silence, speaks louder than any protest or demand for appreciation. Consider how we frequently treat everyday luxuries such as clean water, electricity, and even Wi-Fi. We barely think about them before they vanish. Then, their absence serves as a vivid reminder of their importance. It's the same with human relationships and workplaces. When you remove your constant availability, people begin to understand your worth. You move from being taken for granted to being truly missed. And it's at this point that they realize how important your presence and efforts have always been. Now I'd like to share something personal with you that you might find meaningful. There was a time when I found myself constantly going the extra mile, hoping that someone would finally recognize how much I was doing and cared. But it did not happen. Instead, the harder I pushed, the more invisible I appeared to be. Eventually, I accepted this simple, yet profound Stoic insight. You can't change how much someone values you. You can only choose whether or not to tolerate being undervalued. So, I took a quiet step back. I did not demand attention or deliver a dramatic exit speech. I simply stopped putting my energy into something that wasn't giving back. What was the result? Almost immediately, my absence was felt. People began to notice and ask questions, wondering where I had gone and why things were suddenly not running smoothly. While that felt good, the true victory was regaining my self-esteem in the process. I discovered that genuine appreciation cannot be forced. It needs to come naturally. When it doesn't, it's usually a sign that you're putting your effort in the wrong place. This is Stoicism at its finest, teaching us to value our own actions rather than external praise or acknowledgement. Seneca famously stated, "It is a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness," reminding us that true value and self-worth come from trials, quiet dignity, and inner resilience, not from others' approval or recognition. So friend, the next time you feel overlooked or undervalued, don't shout louder. Instead, become quieter. Allow silence to speak for you, and your presence to serve as a subtle reminder of what is missing. Your true worth is not diminished simply because someone else cannot see it clearly. When you quietly withdraw from the situation, karma gently intervenes. Those who genuinely appreciate and value you will seek you out. Those who have never valued you will naturally fade away, leaving space in your life for people and situations that truly deserve your attention. Rising above the bait. You know those moments when you're feeling calm and in control, and then someone swoops in and purposefully pushes all of your buttons. Perhaps it's a sarcastic remark, an unnecessary criticism, or simply an irritating look designed to get under your skin. It's as if they're holding a match and waiting for you to explode. And the crazy thing is, the moment you react, boom, you just gave them exactly what they wanted. The instinctive reaction is almost always to bite back, defend oneself, or make sure they know you're on their game. Stoicism, on the other hand, provides valuable guidance in this regard. Marcus Aurelius once said that you have control over your own mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will gain strength. Think about it for a second. The only reason anyone tries to provoke you is because they want to control your emotions, and your reaction is their prize. The moment you react emotionally, whether with anger, defensiveness, or frustration, they win, and you lose control of your peace. The amazing thing about choosing silence or calm indifference in these situations is that it completely neutralizes the provoker. It leaves them standing awkwardly, wondering why their little tricks are no longer working. They throw bait expecting a fight, but they are met with tranquility. Nothing irritates a drama addict more than being completely ignored. Stoicism teaches us that emotional control does not imply passiveness. It is your greatest power. Let's look into this idea a little more. Epictetus, another powerful Stoic teacher, had an amazing insight. Anyone who can make you angry becomes your master. Just consider that idea for a moment. Would you really give someone else the key to your emotional well-being? Of course not. Your fortress is your sense of peace, calm, and emotional control. And the moment you allow someone else's provocations to shake you, you've given up the keys to that fortress. Consider this practical approach instead. When someone tries to provoke you, pause, just for a few seconds. Take notice of your breath. Remind yourself quietly that their actions reflect their own insecurities and struggles, not yours. Imagine yourself standing calmly behind that stoic fortress, safe and unaffected by their attempts to provoke you. Give a polite nod or a relaxed smile, then move on with your day. Watch how their confidence plummets when they realize they have no power over you. Here's another powerful perspective shift. Every attempt to provoke you is actually a subtle compliment. Yes, you heard me correctly. They're trying to throw you off balance because they recognize your importance, influence, or strength, even if they don't realize it. It's a twisted version of admiration laced with envy. When you choose calm silence over emotional reaction, you are silently telling them, I see what you're doing, but it won't work because my peace is non-negotiable. Stoicism provides a powerful reminder. True strength is not in reacting, but in restraining your reactions. It's about understanding that every provocation is just noise. Noise cannot harm you unless you choose to respond to it. So let them shout, criticize, or bait you while you stay calm, grounded, and quietly powerful. Finally, the best way to respond to provocation is to say nothing. Not because you're weak or passive, but because you're too strong and confident to let anyone else control your emotional state. Your silence in these moments speaks louder and clearer than any words could. It delivers an unmistakable message. You cannot disturb me. My peace belongs solely to me. Silent goodbyes. There's a quiet strength that comes with truly moving on from someone who never valued your presence. Isn't it funny? How often do people recognize your worth after you've decided you'd be better off without them? Perhaps you've given countless second chances and poured all of your energy into making things work, only to be met with indifference or disrespect. And yet the moment you step away, the moment they sense your absence, they come knocking at your door, full of apologies and regret. Now, your first instinct may be to rush back in, eager to embrace the validation of finally being recognized and appreciated. But here's an important lesson I've learned from Stoicism. You do not need their regrets or apologies to prove your worth. Marcus Aurelius wrote that if you are distressed by something external, the pain is caused by your own estimation of it rather than the thing itself. In other words, their regrets should not influence your decisions or self-esteem. What really matters is how you perceive yourself. Choosing silence and distance in these situations conveys a clear message. You know your worth, and it is not negotiable. Stoicism teaches us that true strength comes from controlling our emotions and maintaining clarity, even when we realize what we've lost. There is no need for vengeance, bitterness, or elaborate explanations. Your absence is clear enough. Think about it practically. When someone who previously undervalued you realizes your importance, they are dealing with consequences, not sudden enlightenment. Their regret does not indicate that they have changed. It simply means that they've realized you're no longer within reach. Your role is not to console their regret or make them feel better about their decisions. Your role is to preserve the dignity and peace you've achieved by stepping away. Stoicism emphasizes an important point here. The past is not ours to fix or alter. Epictetus said that freedom is the only worthwhile goal in life. It is won by ignoring circumstances beyond our control. You cannot control someone else's regret or timing in recognizing your worth, but you can absolutely control how you respond. When you choose not to re-enter their life, you are not cruel. You respect your boundaries and prioritize your self-respect over temporary validation. Here's something truly empowering. Your life does not come to a halt when someone else realizes what they have lost. Instead, your life expands, evolves, and provides opportunities for new, meaningful connections. When you let go gently and quietly, karma takes over. It gently ensures that those who did not appreciate you will come to realize the true consequences of their actions. Your silence in the face of their regret is the clearest form of closure you can provide for both them and yourself. Remember that your silence is not weakness. It embodies strength, dignity, and wisdom.